Hello and welcome back to the Respect and another edition of AEW Collision Out of 10. Forbidden Door's in the books, but AEW doesn't have long until September 20th, its next pay-per-view, All Out. This means the company has a lot of ground to cover in a few weeks to build the cards. So yeah, there's lots going on in this week's show, including advertisers matches, including Big Bill versus Juice Robinson. But we started things off with Daniel Garcia taking on Blake Christensen. Mock showed up as the match was getting going and whispered something to Garcia, which seemed to confuse him a bit. Garcia took control and had it until Lee Johnson provided a distraction for Christian. Vanilla Baby only had the upper hand for a few minutes before Red Death regained his momentum. Garcia won with a power driver in under 10 minutes. The match didn't overstay its welcome, had its good shot, but it was never really designed to steal the show. And I think the main question is what happened between Garcia and Moxley and where that could lead in the long term. So yeah, intriguing. 6 out of 10. Before we got Carl Fletcher and Josh Alexander taking on O'Reilly and Ishii. KO and Alexander had a brief opening sequence before the Stone Pitbull came in and started trading shots with the former TNA champ. The two cars had a brief face-off before they started fighting. The crowd chanted for both of them as they went back and forth. Fletcher ended up bleeding from one side of his left eye. Before through a break into the next segment, all four guys did a good job, but Fletcher and O'Reilly carried most of the match, which made sense due to how the crowd was reacting. Anywhere familiar with the four men, won't be surprised to hear they put on a great match. In fact, it was be surprising they didn't have anything out. Despite O'Reilly and Ishii having the upper hand, the Don Callis family got the win thanks to a low blow. Roderick Strong came out to help O'Reilly, but he wasn't concerned about Ishii, leading to further tension. I think he advanced the storylines, created a fun match as well. So yeah, this was good stuff. 6 out of 10. We then got Jay Lethal versus Hologram. After appearing at Death Force Dishonor, Jay Lethal was back in action for a match against Hologram. Both of them were successful at their pay-per-view and respective matches, so they both had some momentum going into this. Lethal scored the first takedown, but the high flyers back up immediately. They traded a few one counts before coming to a stalemate and shaking hands to show each other respect. This was a fun match that didn't seem to favour one man or another. They both got in plenty of offence and felt evenly matched. The crowd chanted for both men as they were setting up for the sequence, and the Mars Man countered the King's Elbow, but Lethal reversed into a knee bar, into a figure ball. Hologram escaped and was able to get the win. As Hologram was celebrating, we got a teaser for what appears to be evil Hologram. I am very interested. 6 out of 10. Before Alex Windsor was in a very short match against Ashley Box, one with a sharpshooter, squash, that's it. Before we got FTR versus Adam Priest and JD Drake. Harwood and Wheeler did not have Stokely Hathaway by their side when they came out to take on Priest and Drake. Dax and Priest started with a few lockouts. Neither man could seem to get the upper hand. They traded some quick takedowns before Harwood took control. This was one of those matches that was decent but predictable. Nobody thought Drake and Priest were going to win here, so about as being competitive as it was, ended up almost being surprising. A match nobody would have been shocked to see ended up going for a minute, but we went for a break. FDR got the win, but not with their usual finisher. Harwood got a submission victory and gave a promo afterwards. But yeah, that was about it. 6 out of 10. Juice Robinson then took on Big Bill after a few backstage interviews. I'm Jan. The big man stood tall in the middle of the ring, but Robinson circled him, trying to look for an opening. Bill put him on the turnbuckle and backed away just to show some dominance. The battle was typical David v Goliath. Bill used his size to push Robinson around while Juice would occasionally gain a little offense. After Robinson came close a few times, Bill put him in the side slam for a pin and a win. Yeah, decent enough match. Gets 6 out of 10 from me. Before we got Tony Storm, Shirakawa and Queen Aminata taking on Sky Blue, Julia Hart and Billy Stark. Sekla was unable to compete, getting to fight with Jamie Hayter earlier. Storm and Blue got the match going. The champ didn't have a nice headlock takedown, but the Blue didn't stay down for long. They traded holds and counters for a bit before Stark tagged in and returned from a break to see Hart and Aminata both down in the middle of the ring. Both weren't tagged out, but Hart was tagged back in by Blue not long after. All 6 of them did a good job here, but this felt disjointed. It's hard to explain why, but there were moments that didn't really feel like it went as planned. Shirakawa ended up getting a pin for the team over Starks, but she was immediately taken out by Thekla. Hayter was nowhere to be seen, so the heels ended up with the baby faces down. Surprised by the lack of Hayter, but on the whole, thought it was a decent enough match. But there were a few, like I say, miscommunication issues that didn't really work too well, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Overall, AEW Collision gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, it was a pretty decent show. There's a few definitely intriguing things that we saw on this show, like Evil Hologram, the first match as well with Garcia and Moxley. So yeah, I thought it was a really decent show on the whole. Lots of interesting stuff on there, and gets a 6 out of 10 from me. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.